On payroll day, as a manager, you'll need to approve and review your employee timesheets. When you log into the system, the first thing you want to do is look in your top right corner and see if there's any notifications or to-do items that you need to address before you do the approvals. Clicking on the envelope icon will open up our notifications. And in this case, we're going to see that Dave has requested vacation in the period that we're approving. And this is something that we'll need to do prior to being able to approve his timesheet. Next, I'll move to the bell icon to get to that approval action, which is the very top thing that I see here. Now, there may be other types of workflows. For example, the time off request is a time off request workflow, but timesheet approvals are in a timesheet approval workflow. To filter to just the time off requests that are submitted to you, you can use this filter box at the type here. The like filter, and there are other options like saying that the field starts with or is not equal to, but like is a good filter because I could say if anything in this statement here is like what I put in this box to filter for it. So if I type the word off and hit enter, now I will only be looking at time off requests. And in this case, I want to approve. I'll click the approve button. I could type a comment if I like and hit approve, and that will let the employee know that it's approved. And more importantly, it will remove any time off requests for that period from my list. And now I can go on to reviewing timesheets. So clicking on the navigation panel, the hamburger menu, the star icon, reviewing time, I want to go to the detailed hours overview report. This is going to bring up a list for everybody that I manage. So in this case, I'm the manager of 2 employees. And then I can see days that they're scheduled to work, times the R, the actual time they clocked in and out, and to see the time that they're calculated to and any earnings they're earning on those particular days for the hours worked. So one of the important things that I need to look for when I first come to this screen is anybody that has missing punches, because I won't be able to approve a timesheet. So right at the top in the filter, I can click has missing punches. And now it'll filter to just people that have missing punches, and a missing punch is designated by a red question mark. So I can see on this particular day that the employee forgot to clock in. So if I click on this block, the yellow block, it will now open up the timesheet for editing. And on Monday the 16th, I can see that there is an empty block here for the time that the employee had clocked in. So I know that the employee was here at 7 a.m., so I could just type 7A. If it was 7 p.m. at night, I could type 7P. Or if I'm somebody that likes military time, I could type 1900, and the system will convert it to AM PM time. So in this case, 7A. Once I make the entry, I click the save button, and that will now enter that missing punch. Once the system refreshes, I can hit this back arrow to come back to the report, and I'll see that there is no results returned, meaning that I have no missing punches for any of my employees. So I will then uncheck the box so that I can now review the hours again. The second thing I'm going to want to look to do is look for any days where the person is scheduled to work, but there are no hours. That means that the employee likely took some type of time off and maybe forgot to submit a request. Otherwise, that request would have been in my to-do items, and we know that we cleared those. So in order to enter time for that particular day, again, I can click on the yellow block, and now on Sunday the 15th, I can come to the time off column. This is a drop down. If I click on this, it will contain any of the time offs that I have used for this employee in the past. So if it's a new company, you might not see any here. To get the list of the total time offs, right to the right, you have this piece of paper with a magnifying glass, and that'll give us the lookup, which contains every type of time off. So maybe in this scenario here, the employee was taking jury duty, and it wasn't in my drop-down list here for jury duty. I could then come to the complete list of time off and select jury duty. I could enter the number, the hours, the from and to time. So if I wanted to put 7 to 3, I could do that. Otherwise, I could just come to the raw total, and if it's the whole day, I could just put 8 hours and click save. So now I've made an entry for jury duty for 8 hours on this day, and my time off drop down now has jury duty in addition to the other ones that I may have used for this employee. Again, hitting the back button will take me back to the screen. I can now see I don't have any days without scheduled time. I don't have any missing punches, and I agree that we're going to pay Patty 40 hours for this period. When I move down to Judy, I could see again that there is missing hours on the date of the 18th. Clicking on the block will open up the timesheet for editing. I go to the line for Wednesday the 18th. On this day, the employee actually called out sick. I click on the drop down, and since I've used sick before, it is there. She's out for the day. I'm going to put 8 hours in the total column. And I have the ability, by clicking this piece of paper, to add a note. Employee called out at 6:30 a.m. When I click save, that note gets entered into the system, and it's a permanent part of the audit trail. And it'll show that I created the note, here's the note, and the date and time that it was created. Again, clicking save will save that entry. I now hit the back button to go back to the report. And again, in this bi-weekly period, I'm going to pay this particular employee 80 hours. So now I have reviewed all of my employees. I'm satisfied that their hours are correct. To approve the timesheets, I click on the navigation panel, make sure I'm on the star icon. I go to payroll day this time, and by pay period, which will bring up a list of all the timesheets that are available to approve. This will let me know all the ones that are submitted and anyone that's opened where it possibly hasn't been submitted by the employee if they're required to do so. I can, one at a time, click the checkbox and click approve, or I could use this checkbox to highlight everybody. I won't be able to approve this one because it's open, and then I can click approve. When I click approve, if I need to put a comment to the next approver or the payroll person, I could do that, and then I would click OK. An alternate way to do your approvals is through your bell icon. Again, once I've reviewed with my detailed hours over report, I would come here, and these are the timesheets that are submitted to me. I click the checkbox to select them all, and I click mass approve and OK. And now I've completed my responsibilities as a manager. Once your timesheets are approved, you'll see that they're approved at level 1, and that timesheet will no longer be editable by you. So if you've submitted this or approved it in error, please contact your payroll processor, and they can reject the timesheet for you to make the change.